Yeah, I know. It's been a long time since we've done this. Yep, we've had a couple Grails come in since we've done this last. And a couple that are slightly more controversial. You ready to check out the Manor? Well, what do you say? Let's go ahead and have a look around. Welcome back. All right, guys, here we are getting an inside view of Wayne Manor North and the entry, at least from this side of the house, into the collection room. Figured I'd show you guys where this sits in my house. It's actually in the middle of the first floor. So this is where I work every day, going right through these doors. So why don't we go ahead and take a spin in. All right, so here we go. You can see kind of a whole view of the space. Sorry for the shaky camera. Let me open up the other door here. Give you an entire view of the room. Room is about 14 wide by 18 long. And as I said, has entry on this side and entry on the foyer side of the house, right as you come in the main entrance. But I do have a lot of people ask me how big the space is, so that's it. You can see there are hardwood floors on the floor as well as some carpeting just for comfort. I've got this kind of cool light that I found. I thought it was kind of Batman-ish. Up on the ceiling, as well as a couple of accent lights, but we'll talk more about lighting here in a minute. Let me take you around to the other side and we'll go check out the entrance on the other side. Okay, so this is the right side of the foyer when you come in the front door to my home. So this is the other entrance into what I lovingly call the study here at Wayne Manor North, and you can see that I've got some artwork here, which we'll talk about in the next video. But I also have a statue out here right now, and the one that I'm featuring here is Batman Noel, of course. 1/3 from Prime One Studio. I've had this guy for a while. Absolutely one of my favorites in the collection, as Bermejo is definitely a favorite. Okay, so let me take you in now. We'll go in this entrance and check out the room from this side and see what it looks like. Here we go. Open this door up. You can get a sense of what the room looks like from this side. Again, guys, sorry for the shaky camera work. I'm still getting used to using a gimbal, so I decided not to use it for these clips because I'm just not good at it yet. But here's a look at the room from this side. You can kind of get a sense for how deep it is. It's not a giant space. It's not a whole basement. It's not anything like that. It is a room right in the center of my house. So this should give you kind of a sense of space when you're coming in and out of the room. So let's talk a little bit more about what's in it. Okay, why don't we go ahead and start with the thing in the center of the room. So this is a large solid cherry desk. It's about 5.5 feet wide by 30 inches deep, I think is what it is. This is where I work. Some of you may recognize the backdrop there, as this is where I sit when we shoot Rogues Gallery live every other Wednesday night. Yeah, so that's the desk. But of course, the more interesting pieces are the shelving units. So let's talk about this side first, and we'll go into the statues in a moment. But the shelving on this side, that is about, I want to say 9 feet, almost 9 feet wide. The shelves are birch. These are the shelves that I featured in the how-to videos that I did here on the BSC channel over the past couple of years. 3/4 inch birch shelves with 3/4 inch steel plumbing piping with the associated flanges. You can see I didn't quite paint all the underneath of the shelves, but I've got these double stacked on this side. Now, again, we'll go into the statues in a minute, but you can see there are 3 very large, very heavy statues on top of this thing. And I don't know if it shows up on camera, but that shelf is not flexing even a little. So if anybody, I do get questions on these a lot. If anybody is interested in learning more about them or needs a hand in laying them out or what they need for materials, I am always happy to help. Along with these, I have a floating shelf that I put on the right side here that just made sense for the space. Built the same way, same material, same birch shelving, same plumbing. I don't know if you can see there, but at the back I created a steel flange where it connects to the wall, and that's screwed right to the stud, so that thing isn't going anywhere. I could probably sit on there myself and be perfectly fine. So yeah, we've got a couple statues up there that we'll talk about shortly. And then finally, from a furniture perspective, I have these two walnut, these are actually nightstands, and I like nightstands better than end tables. I know you wouldn't think there are two different things, but they are. Nightstands are actually a little taller, which is nice. And I like to use the drawers for a couple things. Camera gear is one thing, and then of course switch outs. So I have one of those, I have the door open over there, but one on the other side. And so yeah, so I like to use those here to kind of flank this doorway. On this end of the room, you see that other nightstand there. But I do have another set of shelves. These ones are set, I think that's 36 inches high, meant to accommodate 1/3 on the bottom. I only have one down there right now. But yeah, that's what that one's meant for. And then I have a kind of a custom three-legged shelf for a lighter quarter scale piece right now, being occupied by Batgirl from XM. And yeah, another set of really sturdy shelves that I can use for statues. Moving over to the other end of the room, I have a similar set of shelves here, kind of set the same way, only I guess maybe a little bit extra on this one. I've got that smaller space on the bottom, and I use that to kind of elevate the 3 1/3 scales that I have there. I keep a quarter scale up there. I'll talk more about what's on that shelf in a bit. Yeah, I kind of got out of the smalls business for the most part. I mean, you'll see a few here floating around the office, but yeah, I'm not one for clutter. So I decided not to put anything down there, at least for now. And lastly, we'll look at this end display here that I have between my windows. These windows are fairly good size. That one in the middle is 6 feet, I believe. The ones on the ends are about 20 inches. So this is, of course, a 4 foot wide, or actually this is 52 inches. So White Knight is 40, right around 40 inches. I don't remember the exact dimensions. So he's a pretty good size. He's close to 48 inches end to end is what you need for space. But as you can see, this is a double shelf that I use for some books and a couple other things that, again, I'll share with you guys here in a few minutes as we start to dive into what's on the shelves. I have another accent light here. This one came from, I think it came from Pottery Barn. That's one that matches the one on my desk. I've got some artwork in this corner, and that kind of gives you a general layout of the room. Let me turn you around, hopefully not making you too motion sick. But yeah, that is the room. All right, guys, let's talk about the statues a little bit. Not full reviews. I just wanted to share with you what I've got in the collection right now. This, of course, is Joker Orochi. He's number 41 out of only 228 of the A version of this statue, which didn't come with the samurai mask. It came with the helmet and then an unhelmeted portrait, but the mask is cool. Wasn't exactly my particular cup of tea. I actually really like this and the other one, so I decided to go with the A. Anyways, it's number 41 of 228. A very cool statue, a very heavy statue. This thing weighs a ton, and you can get a sense of the size of this base when I tell you that the shelf's 16.5 inches deep, and this is protruding over that just a little bit. So that's Joker Orochi. Next, we come to one of my centerpieces. This is Batman Hush, the Batcave edition. Absolutely phenomenal piece. Beast of a statue. He is all of a 1/3 statue. Really cool. Not cool to set up. Those bats are a pain in the ass. But other than that, he is incredible. I'm actually working on getting some of the bats on him signed right now. I'll show you here if I can swing over. at Boston Fan Expo a couple weeks ago. I got Jeff Loeb to sign that one. Hoping to get Jim Lee at New York Comic Con and get the creators' signatures on this. Amazing. Okay, next up we've got Bane from Samurai XM line. Another beast of a statue. You get the sense of the size of him. This one's enormous, guys. He weighs a ton. I don't remember how many pounds he is, but he's huge. One thing I like about this one, similar to the Batman that we'll talk about back there in a second, if this is the only Bane you had in your collection, it definitely is not out of line. It's not overly samurai. It comes with two amazing weapons, this club and then this giant axe. I mean, it's really, really cool. I just realized that I have one of his pipes detached there. Have to put that back. But anyways, love this piece. This is one that I got on the secondary market. Took a little bit to chase this one down, but love him as well. All right, next let me take you to the floating shelf over here in the corner by the Jim Lee and Kirkham artwork. The OG Batman first. This was the second samurai piece that I got in my collection. Probably my favorite in the samurai collection still. I just think he's absolutely iconic. Quintessential Batman. I keep him more traditional. I love the samurai accents, but I kind of like the more traditional. This is probably my favorite way to have him outfitted, which might be surprising to you. He comes with tons of swap outs. You can see the base is fantastic, but I don't have the the weapons in his hands. I kind of like the clenched fists. I just think it's kind of an intense pose. So yeah. Love that piece. And then moving forward, of course, I think this one's an absolute sleeper. One of my favorites ever done by Sideshow, and that is the Scarecrow Premium format in quarter scale, of course. Jason Todd's dead, zombified corpse coming out of the base. Amazing detail. I love the tones that they used on this. They used earth tones and kind of muted tones and rusts and browns, and just really cool, and I think really in line with what makes for a cool depiction of Scarecrow. All right, moving us right along, next up is Deathstroke. This was the first samurai piece that I got here in the Manor collection, thanks to the enabling skills of our friend Jeff Delaney at the Secret Sanctuary. Jeff had got the Deathstroke as well as Batman a few years back, and once I saw his reviews of these pieces and got a good look at them, Jeff does phenomenal reviews on his channel, really thorough and really good photography and camera work. Yeah, I had to have them. So I picked up Deathstroke, and I think it was really probably within a month or two that I had the Batman as well. Really happy that I decided to go with these. But yeah, Deathstroke's awesome. And I know I've said it before, as have others, but one of the best bases perhaps done on a quarter scale statue to date. Okay, and we'll move across on the second shelf here, and Chris, the Batman statue collector, I'm talking to you, my friend. You are sleeping on this piece. Like you, I am, Robin is not central to my collecting, and nor is he actually central to my reading, but he is a cool character. He's important in the mythos, and this might be the best depiction to date done of Robin. I love the hood, the textures, just like you would expect from XM Studios, the paintwork, the sculpt, the patina on this, what is supposed to be a copper bell, temple bell, the tie-in to Poison Ivy with the flower there, the ivy flowers. I mean, he's just awesome. Comes with multiple weapons, couple of different portraits. I mean, look at the texture on his hood, just phenomenal. Love the piece. Chris, you gotta get him. Okay, and let's move on over to Harley Quinn. Absolutely awesome. She was a day one PO for me. I saw her in New York at New York Comic Con in 2019, and wow, she's a stunner. And yes, I know she's on a pink bike, but that color is accurate for a Vespa motor scooter from that time. So I'm not too upset with it. Would I like something different? Yeah, I think they probably could have done some wear and tear on it, some rust and that kind of thing, and made it look a little older and whatnot, but it's okay. I kind of like it. But Harley's really the star of the show here. I mean, look at her. That pose to me is just so different, so cool. Kind of that sultry, intimidating, hey, I'm kind of dangerous look on her face. Absolutely love the piece. But yeah, she's awesome, and for sure a keeper. Let's move into our next section here. So probably the most expensive and most difficult piece for me to chase down because I was too foolish not to jump on it when she was released. And that is, of course, Poison Ivy. Absolutely gorgeous. Another one that I was able to see in person when I visited the BSC out in BSC land. And she does not disappoint. Absolutely stunning from top to bottom. Uber delicate piece. I know I did a detailed review on this one. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do that. But she is 110% worth adding to any samurai collection. I'm not a completionist when it comes to lines necessarily. Thank God that doesn't weigh heavily on me. But I did feel like I needed her in the collection. I just think she's a stunner. And as you move over, we have Nightwing. This is the only Nightwing piece that I have in my collection, and being honest, guys, it's really the only Nightwing piece that's ever really spoken to me. Like I felt like, wow, that's cool. I've got to have him in my collection. The new Hush Nightwing from Prime 1 is pretty cool, but the suit is so simple compared to, this. And I know this is a bit over the top, but over the top to me in a good way. I just think it's really, really cool. I like the uber realism in these pieces. And, if you were going to armor up and go to battle, you'd want this kind of weaponry and protection. But anyways, he comes with a number of swap outs. He's got batons and knives and all kinds of cool stuff that come with him. And I just think that he is awesome. Down to the lower section now. And you see here Catwoman. And she, another beauty. I mean, just a stunner. She's a big piece. It's a quarter scale motorcycle. It's all of 2 feet long, if not longer. But she's another one that just comes with a couple of just stunning portraits. I mean, the biting the lip, sultry, dangerous kind of look similar to Harley Quinn's. I just absolutely love that piece. So yeah, she's beautiful and really happy that I got her in the collection as well. And a couple of smalls. I don't keep the smalls typically anymore unless they're a gift. This one, the Harley Quinn Gotham City Garage series Harley Quinn was a gift from my wife for Christmas a few years back, so we kept that one. And this space is going to change a little bit in the months to come, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes when we talk about POs. All right, guys, let's talk about this corner of the room. So once again, you see that walnut wood nightstand that I was talking about. And I mentioned the walnut because it's a particularly strong wood, so you can put a hefty piece on that. It's about 19 inches square, so that's going to hold a good sized piece at some point. Right now, I've got this custom Joker mask. We bought the base for this mask, but my son and I customized it, and I think it came out pretty cool. I kind of like having that in the collection. But on the shelves over here, I talked a little bit about the Batgirl from the Samurai series. Very hard to find, extremely expensive these days. If you're able to find one at a reasonable price, do it. She is awesome. Probably the most dynamic. I'm showing you the side view. You can see most dynamic piece that I have in my collection. I've had that for a few years now, and there's not a millimeter of lean in her. And because she's one of the original pieces from the series, when they first started doing Samurai, they offered a ton of switch outs, and she's one that's got them. A few different head sculpts and weapons and arm positions, and you can really change it up, and she makes for an amazing display. All right, next up is this Maniac. This, guys, might be the sleeper piece of my collection, and he's a new ad. Many of you might know that I had the Prime 1 Batman Who Laughs in my collection up until very recently. Sold them to a great collector here in our community. Just from a space standpoint, based on POs that I have coming in, but I wanted a quarter scale Batman Who Laughs to go with the Robin King that I have on PO. Well, I saw this one at Chris's when I was out visiting him in January and was really impressed once again with Sideshows, with the texture work and the colors and the paint. Guys, video and pictures don't do this justice. His teeth, and I know I'm not going to be able to get it in there even with the incredible macro lens. Well, maybe. Is it going to focus in? No, not really. But his teeth, I mean, they look real. And the texture on this thing is crazy good. The pose is awesome. It's taken directly from one of the comic book covers. And I just love it. The dried blood on the base and the patina they applied to these cave sculptures of our heroes. The detail in this kind of industrial steel, great, flooring. It's just fantastic. And it's a tremendous value. Now, I know the ES is huge. I think it's $2,500 on this piece. But man, he is a sleeper piece. I can't encourage you enough to get that one. He's really fantastic. Now, moving down, you can see this space is definitely made for 1/3 scale statues. I decided right now to only have one down here. I've got the Libramejo Joker, of course. I won't spend a lot of time on him. I think most of us are familiar with him by this point, but absolutely love him and love having him in the collection. May have a new spot in mind for him, but for right now, he's there. I've got Sideshow. I think this is the only 1-to-1 or life-size piece that I have in my collection, and honestly, I think my collection will likely stay that way. The Joker mask from Sideshow. Again, a really fun piece. He's got the batarang stuck into the cards there and whatnot, and you can't tell on video, I don't think, but the texture on that mask is awesome. It's just a different kind of accent piece to have in the collection, and I really, really enjoy it. Moving over to Freeze. To me, guys, this is the quintessential Freeze. I absolutely love this piece. Sideshow, once again, boy, it seems like when they've got the right designers and the right, concept artists and the right sculptors, etc., they just knock it out of the park. I think this is a fantastic piece. You've got the light up Nora proximity piece down there and just enough detail. And I think he's super fun, jumped right off the comic book pages, and I love having him in my collection. I am looking forward to see what XM brings when they bring their Freeze Samurai that they had teased a while back. But for now, this is my Freeze. I know Chris recently picked up the Prime 1/3 Freeze again, which is just amazing as well. Different set of space requirements with that piece, so I decided to move on from him several months back. But I could not be happier than to have this guy in my collection. All right, let's take a look at this corner of the room. And I apologize for the blown out light, guys. Even though these are UV blocking shades, they're light filtering so that I can let the light into the room. But I want to give you a look at this corner. Another set of those shelves, just a different width. I think these are 6 feet wide, if I remember correctly. Are close to it, and same piping, same size shelves, and I've got 3 1/3 scales here right now, as you can see. Controversial one, this Joker. I'm gonna say it, guys, in my mind, for my money, in person, this is the best Heath Ledger Joker on the market. Just my opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions, but I tell you what, this thing in person is crazy, crazy good. The hair sculpt, the face sculpt. I'm gonna get right in here and show you this guy. If you haven't seen him in person, you have not seen this Joker, guys. I'm telling you, the tailoring is impeccable. I mean, everything about him. The pose is what you'd want. This is actually a custom quarter scale mask. I did not get the store exclusive. I wasn't early enough on the bandwagon on this one, and so I didn't get that, but give you a sense of that really cool base, the rebar and the gas cans and the money. Absolutely love it. I just think he's a phenomenal statue. So I know, just my opinion, but I think he's awesome. And as you can see, this is the sculpt from the optional new bust. And right now I've got the grinning one put away. I'm going with this one for now. Okay, let's talk Dark Knight. Here he is. From Queen Studios, this is a 1/3 scale Christian Bale Dark Knight Batman. I know this one's got a little bit of criticisms for the chin maybe not being exactly correct. But I tell you what, when I look at that portrait, yeah, I see Christian Bale. I bet if I asked 20 of you guys, who is this, what actor, which Batman, you'd probably say Christian Bale Dark Knight. I'm happy with it. I love it. Actually, I'm really happy with it. I think he looks iconic. The pose is perfect. I really like the base and what they did with it. Kind of Tumblr-esque in how it's designed. It's got a fabric cape, which I like. I like to be able to kind of drape it behind him like that. I just think he looks like he jumped right off the movie poster. Quality is awesome. Textures are awesome. I'm just really happy with him. Which at the end of the day, guys, that's what matters, right? Collect what we're happy with. And yeah, I think that Queen did a phenomenal job on this piece. As you can tell, I do have a custom riser under him. If you guys are interested in that, if you haven't seen the video, I did a how-to on how to make that riser. I made it so that it kind of matched my collecting aesthetic. But the base on this one's kind of small. It's only about 2 inches high, whereas Joker, you can see, is, I think it's over 5 inches high. So I kind of wanted to make so that Batman was the tallest piece here in this little line. And so I made this custom riser, and I really like it. I think it's got that industrial look, and I don't think it looks out of place at all. I love it. So, and then next up, we have the, of course, amazing Margot Robbie Harley Quinn from Prime One Studio. Love this piece, continue to. I've had it in my collection now for several years and never get sick of it. Absolutely gorgeous. Now iconic, as Margot really has owned this role. And Prime One knocked it out of the park. A couple of great portraits with this one. I think there are 3 with this one. But the bubblegum portrait and this open mouth are my favorite. You know, the fact that the cut and sew doesn't, you know, that it's actually sculpted and looks like cut and sew, with the exception of the fishnets, of course. But yeah, absolutely love Margot here. She is fantastic. Okay, lastly, I could not shoot this room tour, of course, without talking about my personal grail, and that is the White Knight from XM Studios on motorcycle. He is absolutely phenomenal. I continue to marvel at this statue every day when I walk by it. The level of detail on this bike is ridiculous. I keep it with the cowl off right now on this side so that you can see all the various details. All of this is 100% sculpted, guys. Absolutely amazing. The Batman, he's huge, over 40 inches wide. To the tip of that cape right there, to the other side of the back side of the base, he's 30 inches deep. So he definitely takes up some room, and he's definitely a breakage risk. You got to put him somewhere out of the way. Absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. And then down here, I've got some other pieces. I'll start talking about some of the other things on the shelf. I've got here, I am a history buff, and I've got some books here, World War II, a lot about 101st Airborne and Easy Company. This actually, guys, this is for those of you who like history, this is a first edition Band of Brothers from 1993 by Stephen Ambrose. And this is what they call an uncracked first edition, meaning this is never read, the binding's never been cracked, and it is absolutely perfect. Definitely one of my favorite collectibles. Love that piece. Then just have some more, you know, family mementos, family pictures. The baseball from when on draft day when my son was drafted by the Angels. I've got Jock's, this from one of his new 52 covers. I love that. Couldn't get rid of that black and white. You'll notice I've got a few, and then I've got a few mementos from when I went and actually ran on Mount Currahee. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mount Currahee, look into Band of Brothers. You'll see it there. I did want to mention up top here another controversial piece. Kind of a funny theme here in today's video. This is one of Sideshow's most recent premium formats, of course, this kind of Kelly Jones-esque Batman. And guys, I'm gonna be real honest with you. When this first came out, I wasn't blown away. The draping cape kind of made me nervous. I didn't understand it. Wasn't that much of a fan of it, and kind of thought the statue looked small. Now, I know I can't help with that in this video, but I came around on the cape. I actually think it's a cool, you know, artistic element to this piece and different. This piece is huge, guys. He's actually really big. Don't have my tape measure handy, but he's enormous, he's heavy, and Amilcar did a phenomenal job. I like this portrait better than the teeth portrait. I think the teeth were just poorly executed from Sideshow. I don't know if that's a production issue or what, but I kind of like dark and gritty, as you can tell by my collection, and this fits that bill. You got the Wayne family crest, the W there. You got this really cool gargoyle and the Kelly Jones-esque Batman. I just think he's awesome. And just to answer a question, I do get questions from time to time on the side. I've had some people message me. I just wanted to kind of answer. You can see I've got a few family pictures. My grandfather fought in the war, and this is his funeral flag. And then this is my tribute to the 101st Airborne, again, Band of Brothers. And this particular piece is done by John Shaw. It features Major Dick Winters with his first lieutenant at the time, I believe, or captain actually at the time, at the Battle of the Bulge in Europe. And it is signed by 12 of the actual members of Easy Company from Band of Brothers, for those of you who are interested in history. All right, guys, I figured I would, try to make this relatively short. As I mentioned, you probably heard me mention on Rogues, I'm actually going to do this in 3 parts. You've clearly seen a ton of artwork on the walls here. Artwork is really at the center of what I love about this hobby. It probably begins and ends for me with the art. That's in the comic books, that's in the illustration. I just love it. And I love how it translates into 3 dimensions with our statues, right? So I love that as well. So I'm going to do a second part. The next part to this little 3-part series is going to be the artwork in my collection. There's some really cool stories around some of these things. And then the third part will be the comic books. I'm not a volume collector, but I do have, I think, a collection that some of you might be interested in checking out. So I'm going to bring that in part 3. The other piece that I want to talk about, and pardon me, I'm bringing my iPad into the fold here, are my POs. So I do have, I think it's nine POs right now that I have on order. One of the things, guys, that you'll notice about my collection, and I don't know if it surprises you, some of you watching this, I don't have a ton of statues. I used to have a lot more 1/6, 1/10 even, the black and whites. I had a ton of those. And one thing that I would just encourage all of you, and not to sound preachy, but really collect what you love and collect it in a way that makes you feel comfortable. So whether that's financially or from a space standpoint, from a design aesthetic standpoint, collect in a way that makes you feel good about your collection and so that it enriches your life and doesn't stress you out. So that's the end of that little preachy stump speech, but I just had to say that. And from my own perspective, I went down a path where I had too much at one point. I had Hot Toys, I had Star Wars, I had Batman, I had Marvel. It just got to be overwhelming. And for me, it stressed me out. Actually, I think it caused me some anxiety, to be honest with you. These are not inexpensive things. And, they start to pile up and you start to worry about how you're managing it all. And, it can be stressful. So thanks to Chris's wisdom a few years back, I decided I chose my most favorite fandom, and that for me has been Batman, has been for many, many years. I chose Batman. I narrowed my focus and kept narrowing the aperture on that focus more and more and more with time. And it's done nothing but really enrich the collecting piece of the hobby for me, and I just love it. So with that, I wanted to share with you what POs I have on order right now. So again, sorry for the camera work, guys. I'm doing this with a selfie stick. Okay, so I've got Red Hood and Scarecrow from the Samurai line coming in. Super excited. You saw Chris recently review Red Hood, and I've got that piece coming hopefully very, very soon. I've got Amilcar Fong's Scarecrow, or he's the designer for the Scarecrow from XM Studio from their Samurai line. Super excited about that one. Amilcar, that is a stunning piece, man. That's going to be a wicked one to have in the collection. You heard me mention I pre-ordered Robin King, so he's going to go right in front of me here on this other shelf with the Batman Who Laughs from Sideshow. You saw Chris review that piece recently, and he actually paired them with the Sideshow piece. I think they look phenomenal. I think like they're made to be together, so can't wait to get him in the collection. Also have the Joker White Knight to go with that Bat Bike over there from XM Studios. Had the opportunity to speak with the team over at XM about that piece. Was super excited to be involved early with that one. Can't wait to have it in the collection. Can't wait to have the Harley Quinn come up for PO. That's a super exciting piece. So got a spot over there for that one all picked out and ready to go for whenever that Joker comes in. Other than that, so I've got a few pieces that are going to move on that wall behind me. So the Joker Orochi that you see up there over my left shoulder, at least on the screen, he's probably going to move down lower. He's a piece that, especially with his unhelmeted portrait, he can absolutely be lower in the collection. So I'm going to move him down. I'm going to put the George Jimenez 1/3 Joker, the one that he's in the chair from Prime One Studio. He's going to go right in that spot. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think Bane might come down just one shelf. He does need some height. He's got to be mid-height at least. But I think I'm going to pull him down one shelf, and I think Talon's going to go on the other side of Batman, which I'm really excited about. I know he's not part of the Hush storyline, but I think he'll pair well size-wise and just from a layout standpoint. I think he'll fit real well there. I have the Harley Quinn Arkham City coming, and just had to give a nod here, a shout out to Paula Wanter, who recently reviewed her. She just did a phenomenal job. Paula, awesome. That was fantastic. If you haven't checked that one out, guys, check it out. Paula is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Harley Quinn statues, and I really encourage you to check that out. She did a great job, but I've got Harley Quinn. She's going to go on this end table thing over here as soon as she comes in. And then the other two that I have on order are the concept design piece by Jim Lee of the Batman. That one's going to go with a piece of artwork that I happen to have in my collection of that, and I can't wait to get that one. And then I also have the Blitzway Prime 1 Pattinson piece, the Batman, that's going to go, I think, on the other side over here where Deathstroke is now. Going to move a couple pieces around, but I think those are phenomenal. And if you haven't seen Chris's San Diego Comic-Con convention coverage, check it out. The video that he got, and Jeff Delaney at Secret Sanctuary did the same thing. Tremendous video of that piece of the Blitzway partnership piece with Prime 1. It's unbelievable. The portrait might be the best unmasked portrait I've ever seen. Just phenomenal. So that's what I have coming in, guys. I'm going to leave you with that. That's a lot. It's probably a longer video than I expected it to be, quite frankly. It's just the room and the collection, but I wanted to give you a look at what the room looked like, the layout, etc. I don't talk about that a ton, but I do have one more surprise coming your way, so stand by. What's your name, you ask? Vengeance. All right, what do you say we take Vengeance outside and I give you guys a tour around of Wayne Manor North's new Vengeance. Thanks so much for joining me for this 2022 room tour here at Wayne Manor North. I really appreciate you joining me. I really appreciate everybody's excitement for this room tour. I hope I lived up at least a little bit to your expectations. Kind of a high bar, to be honest with you. But yeah, really appreciate everybody's interest. Always a blast to share this kind of stuff with you guys in the community, and really appreciate you all again, and thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please like this video. Really helps out the BSC channel here on YouTube. Give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really encourage you to do that. A lot of great content on the channel. Chris does an amazing job with leading the channel here at BSC, and I will see you guys next time on Rogues Gallery Live.